Welcome back to another LinuxGameCast Weekly, the show that covers the latest Linux gaming news, reviews, how-tos, and most importantly, whatever the hell else we come up with. This week, Humble tells a tale with the latest bundle, but we don't have any word on Linux support. And Norse, what do we want to say, Norse Ka DLC. That thing, whatever it is, it's crazy, but it is coming to Linux because, you know, Feral, they loves them some war.
We discuss why setting arbitrary heap memory executable is a bad thing. You want code injection, kids? Because that's how you get code injection. And when you're a kid and you want to go wee, but you ain't got drugs yet, you hold on to your life. You hold on to your little malice and spite.
Another dev figures it's best to not give certain people ammo. And River City Ransom goes away for a bit. It'll be back, though. And NVIDIA says they can't support Xwayland. And people rightly point out that it's not that they can't, it's just that they won't.
Sounds terrifying. Anyway, I'm Vince Stone here at LGC Actual, switching the bits, you know, running the boards, popping in, dropping a comment every now and then. Joined every week by the man up north.
So spooky. It's so spooky.
Good thing that's not UV, that's one master Sphang, and using all of his LTE bandwidth.
All of it.
From Britannia.
Literally all of it. This is the best you're getting. Sorry.
The flashing light on the side of his headphones probably doesn't help much either.
No, it's kind of brilliant. I knew that. That was one Pedro Matez, and together with Chat Realms Dynamics, helping us form that last little bit. Isn't that right, Frank? Yeah. Okay. Known as Cocaine Voltron. Before we get started, we do like to play the game of what's going on in each other's life organs. Beautiful people. Crazy week. Really, all I want to say is whoever's responsible for the battery retention screw in the Volkswagen 2010 Jetta needs to eat all the bags of dicks and die in a fire while eating the bags of dicks. Done. Out of my system. What's up, J-Baby?
Oh, I got nothing going on. This has been a boring ass.
Okay, what's going on, Pedro?
I'm looking for a job. If anyone in the UK is watching this right now and they want a foul-mouthed games critic, I'm your man. Do it.
Or slash male prostitute.
Hey, man, I heard Fronex is looking to open up a UK office.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, that's something to look forward to.
And I totally just made that up to see what he would say.
see if Liam is hiring for gaming on Linux. Maybe whatever.
Yeah,
but
I don't think
that wouldn't happen because it would make me too happy.
I know, but you know what doesn't make us happy, but we still do it every week. We just take out our sticks and we beat our horse until it's a fine pile of goo. It's the Linux update. All right, so there's a bit of a little exploit that Valve has patched recently. Apparently, there were certain custom death animations you could load into Counter-Strike or any number of Source Engine games. And so when they go to your server, load the death animations, when they die, because Valve doesn't sanitize their inputs, you could just, run some arbitrary code on a remote system, own their system, because that's just how you do it. It's the classic arbitrary code ejection maroon. And, I mean, Pedro, you brought up an excellent point, and the same thing crossed my mind when I originally read this. I'm like, this thing only affects Windows, but I mean, they set heap memory as executable under Linux. SE Linux complains about it constantly. And I'm like, if it's a good thing that the majority of this malware would be targeting Windows, because that's a prime way to just own some Linux boxes.
Yeah, that right there is like, okay, so it's code injection coming in through a game engine that currently works on Linux. And it's a game engine that, like Jordan already mentioned, does like to set the executable heaps in memory. It's bad. SE Linux is constantly complaining whenever you start Half-Life 2 or Left 4 Dead or really basically any Source game. It just always complains. So yeah, it would have been a matter of time until someone figured out how to make a Linux exploit out of this.
Yeah, fortunately, there was no Linux exploit of this, and just another fantastic reason not to game on Windows. So, River City Ransom, man, it kind of got pulled from Steam, but the developers clarified the situation, right?
Yes, he did. So, chances are, even if you have been living under a rock like me with really, really bad internet, you know who Alex Maurer is and what she's been doing lately. Well, one other game that had some bits of her music in was River City Ransom Underground. And the devs, basically they got tired of being threatened by Maurer with DMCAs and having their content constantly DMCA'd on other people's channels on YouTube, what have yous. And they said, you know what? We don't have the money to fight her on this. So we're just going to pull the game, get rid of everything she did, and then once that's done, the game will be available again through the usual channels. And, you know, it sucks. It's a game that's just being caught on the side of a spurious DMCA claimant, which... It's debatable at this point whether or not she actually has the rights to that. I guess we'll have to wait for...
If you go through the article and just gotta look at that, and I was like, no, man, we got the paperwork. Kind of like with, what's the shmup?
Star Mazer DSP.
Star Mazer, same difference. Signed the contract. This is a mentally ill person filing spurious DMCA. How jacked up is U.S. copyright law? Behold!
Yep.
This is what you're dealing with in YouTube. Die in a fire, YouTube. You should have snuffed this, man. I mean, yeah, all right, you want to protect your safe harbor, but this is horseshit. And that's
70 spurious claim downs from a single person?
Exactly. Yeah. And on Star Mazer and stuff like that. And they're trying to protect the people who are playing the game that might want to publish that. They can get their channels noped and all that fun stuff. It's just jacked up. And I hate it for the developers because they made a reasonably good hipster pixel game on a wicked low budget, but ultimately, and I guess that does kind of speak to the legal system, is it's cheaper to go back and get somebody to do the music than it is to lawyer up and take this to court. Yep. J-Baby?
Yeah, this is kind of screwed up. They need to really have some provision in the DMCA for, like, if you file false claims, then you get charged the whatever amount of money, like $1,000 or something.
There is that. Thing is, if for some reason she's not able to pay that, people just get burned. The money you spent on those legal fees, you're burned with it.
I'm not sure that's in the DMCA proper. That might be in something like enforced in YouTube, but I am not a lawyer. Do not quote me on this. Moral of the story, though, copyright law in massive need of reform, just like Serious Sam 3 BFE. And on that lovely transition, we got an update for Fusion 2017 beta. They tweaked there's no Vulkan-y or Linuxy bits here. They just decided we're going to make the serious mode actually hard in BFE. So they've removed all of like the full-on ammo drops except for some of the plot necessary ones with the C4. They increased the enemy count. Apparently Sam doesn't get cramps in his arm anymore because of, I don't know, some sort of masturbatory exercise. So now he puts his arm down all the time, which made me just think of Serious Sam running around with like the Nazi salute, which is kind of hilarious. But there's also a bunch of miscellaneous fixes. They went through all the levels on all of the Serious games and did some tweaks. So there should be some better gameplay there, it seems. And that's about it. There's some bugs. The ending credits are desynced, much like LinuxGameCast, and there's some shadow problems, but in one of the levels. But I think that's about it. What do you guys think?
Yeah, they said everything's basically pretty legit. I glossed over it. Control F Vulkan. All right, no news on Vulkan. Shrug emoji.
Yeah, no, and there were no Linux specific fixes, although they do say that they made many various fixes to all levels in all games. Bold claims, because I remember when the when they brought Serious Sam 3 to the Fusion thing, I played the first 2 levels, and on the second level, I managed to parkour my way up a building I wasn't supposed to go up. And
yeah, you know what though? I blame Crow Team for that with the Serious Sam giving us the benchmark demos, watching the developers play it, and I'm like, oh, that's bullshit. I didn't know you could get up there. Let's go explore.
Yeah, so I went exploring, and I ended up in a place I couldn't go to, and the game froze. So I'm assuming they kind of fixed the invisible walls now, and they don't actually let people go to those places that just make the game crash.
And this wasn't a small update either. It was like 3 gigajoules to download this sucker. So
Yeah, so there's some good stuff in there for sure. But did you? I mean, what Ben? I need to know, what is the secret of your power? Ben, can you take me far away to the mucky muckland?
I was just going to say drugs, but yeah, no, Wonderboy, the Dragon's Trap.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is Wonder Boy. You may remember. I actually don't remember what system this was originally on, but it was on an old system.
The Master System.
Many years ago. Master System, yeah.
The original Sega 8-bit.
Yeah, Master System, yeah. Okay. Then I should have known that because I had one, but I mostly only played Alex Kidd. No, this is Wonder Boy, and it's very similar in scope to what Alex Kidd did. It's a 2D platformer. You can play as either Wonder Boy or Wonder Girl, and it's everything, like the visuals and the audio were completely redone. But then you point out that this is somehow partially using the original ROM.
Yes. Probably because it's a .emu published game, and that's their usual MO.
Yes.
Since we're just reading each other's show notes, I mean...
I think
actually,
it's like some crazy fucked up nonsense where they basically have a version of the game that ignores system requirements or something and can load massively oversized sprites without going into overflows or something. I don't know.
Well, it's kind of the fun thing. I sit back and was like, oh yes, this has gone so far as to use some bits of the original ROM. And I was like, you understand, like, one sprite from this game is larger than the entire ROM of the original game, right?
Exactly. Like I said, some sort of fucked up insanity.
But it's out. It's 19.99 watts stinky. Cache is very positive. 272 reviews. It's Flibbit, glibc 2.17, SDL game controllers, fully supported. And we would like to thank the developers of the game. They sent us keys, correct?
Yes, they did. Earlier in the week, they sent us 3 keys, so thank you very much. There will be chairs flying at Wonder Boy at some point in the future.
Wonder chairs?
Wonder chairs, man. It's like Wonder Bread, but with more chairs.
It's like Wonder Bread, but whiter. Oh.
Good God, war, hammer, Norska. All right. It's DLC. That's what it is. It's coming out August 10th. It's 10% off. People don't pre-order. Sorry, regularly 9.99. What sneaky cash is? Evil when it does handstands. And it's DLC for Warhammer. I don't know. It adds new stuff. Did anybody read into this? Because I'm not...
I did. It adds Vikings. It adds so for like the overworld campaign thing, you can do things where you can capture large-scale beasties like delicious, nutritious mammoths and ride them into battle like so many war olifants, giving all the Tolkien nerds in the audience huge ass bonus.
Check this out, J-Baby. Look through. Are these requirements for the game or the DLC? 29 gigajoules or 35?
I think that's literally for the game itself.
Yeah,
they just copy pasted the system requirements. Unless this is like a fucking 40 gig DLC, in which case it better fucking give me a back massage and make me tacos, because goddamn.
Yeah, no, August 10th, 2017 is when it's coming out, so don't open your wallets until then if you're into the Warhammer.
Hey man, look, they got dragons. I bet dragons get more screen time in this DLC than they do in Game of Thrones. Am I right?
Dragons are expensive, you know.
Yeah. I don't know. You got to figure though. What is the budget of this game? Like maybe 2-3 episodes of Game of Thrones.
Probably, yeah.
Something like that. Before we get out of here, just a little bit of madness. Park Bound has shown up, a massively multiplayer that got our attention. Featuring player Minecraft, fuck your friends over, park with your enemies, golf with friends, and 3D buildable environments, and it's massively multiplayer. And of course, it's early access, man. If this thing gets like 2 more, it gets a bite-sized Snickers. $14.99. What do we think about this, man?
It's the ultimate chicken fuck you with your friends.
I really am getting tired of this like crappy looking aesthetic. At first, like with the goat simulators and like the human fall flat, it was kind of funny because it's like, that's part of the joke. Now it's just lazy. It looks like, oh yeah, we have basic 3D polygons. When a given episode of Reboot looks better than your game, you have problems.
Wow, Reboot. Okay. That's a blast from the past. But yeah, no, these graphics, they don't even look retro. That's the thing. There's like, oh yeah, Minecraft was stupidly popular with the big oversized squares, so why even bother trying to make a proper aesthetic? We'll just use that.
The only thing I'm
works,
worried about this is we've demonstrated on multiple occasions the amount of fuckery that happens in a 2D field with Ultimate Chicken Horse.
Yes.
Yeah.
where we have like literal rounds where nothing fucking happens because we made the level way too fucking hard.
Exactly. Now this is going to be a 3-dimensional area, and also I think it almost requires too much work. That's something Ultimate Chicken Horse got right. It gives you the pre-made things. It's like, go stick them somewhere. Maybe this will do the same thing. Maybe we'll bug them. We'll get some keys and we'll do it for an after show or something like that. I don't know, Pedro. It kind of looks like a Unity game. Probably runs like a Unity game.
Probably, yeah. But once it's out of early access, I'll be sending them an email. It's like, yo, keys, gimme.
Yeah, once it's out of early access, I don't think that's going to be happening there, Brad. Just saying.
I mean, that's not exactly a bad thing for us.
Listen, man, I mean, it could definitely happen once.
Listen, I too wish we lived in the fantasy land where there are low job robots that shit ice cream, as I've said before, but I don't think we're in that reality
Planet
just yet.
Explorers came out of early access as a survival game, I believe that this one can as well.
Well, it'll come out of early access way too early. It depends on how many people buy it. I mean, it's currently sitting at 11 reviews, so no negative. So I'm guessing these are
friends of the devs.
Yeah.
Developers.
One of them is the lead developer is the sweetest boy ever. Signed, his mom.
Right. All right. I think that's going to do it for our steamy segment.
All right. Coming up next, we talk about the Xwaylands and why they're bad, but also good, but mostly bad.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I bet you miss me. Not really. I didn't miss myself either. Then again, I have to live with myself 24/7, so you get the better end of this deal. But hey, for some reason, you think it's a good idea to give us money. Why is that?
They like supporting Linux and supporting people who also support Linux and try to get the word out and all that fun stuff.
That is
that
complete and utter poppycock, Ben. No one believes that for a hot second. We brainwashed these people using subliminal, liminal, and superliminal messages. Sort of like this. Hey, give us money! You can do that by heading on over to LinuxGameCast.com. Click that support the shows button. Oh man, we got Amazon affiliate links so you can buy stuff, and then we get money for stuff that you get yourself. We got a wish list if you want to buy us some stuff, like Mr. Red did. He bought us an HDMI cable. He gets to go up on the fuck wall with Frank. How's that looking, Frank?
Oh, look how sexy it says. Frank loves this, man. He was like, yo, after the show, he's like, can I borrow this and go Carradine it? But I was like, no, man, this is for the business, and it's kind of brilliant. This is the HDMI display port, because we have two separate people threatening to send us black magic capture cards, which we need, and this will allow us to connect that business. Thank you, Mr. Red. You are on the fuck wall.
Indeed. We also got the lovely folks at patreon.com/LinuxGameCast who have fallen entirely subject to our liminal messaging because they give us money. We're at $191 a week. Woo-hoo. Oh man, if we hit that 200, we're gonna do 16 player all Linux Series Sam 3.
Nine. Wow.
Nine.
Whoa. All right. back that up.
9.
Don't get carried away.
9 wet stinky caches.
Seriously, we're 9 wet stinky caches away from Serious Sam, which Jordan doesn't like, and he's going to be forced to play with 14 other Patreons. We're going to fucking steamroll this goddamn game. This is going to be the event of the fucking event every other week, where all the Patreons who want to play, because everyone loves their Serious Sam. We're going to jump in. We're going to run a train on this damn game, and everyone who's a patron is invited, and we're going to beat the damn thing, and we're going to do it as a team. maxed out 16, which I'm sure we can fill. And we're going to do it at different times, too. We're not always going to hit East Coast late in the afternoon. Sometimes we're going to do it early so we can get everyone in across the little blue ball. We have some new patrons to thank this week, though, son.
Oh yeah, we got Steve Eric Sven Time. He's going to be really pissed off at our Jotun review because I assume he's some kind of dwarf or something. We also got James Kane, not to be confused with James Kahn, and Joseph Corson, who have given us money so that we can continue to bring this news to your face. You guys seem to enjoy it, so if you don't have money to give us, you don't have stuff you want to buy on Amazon through our affiliate link,
Share the show.
Spread the word. You can share us on Google Plus or on Twitter. If you have people on Facebook who you hate, you can link us to them, and they'll hate you even more. It's gonna be great. It's how you end friendships. You want to unfriend someone on Facebook? Send them an LGC video.
I mean,
That's how
seriously,
you do.
I mean, we give you so much ammunition to actually inflict pain upon your friends and family and people who follow you on social media. So if you could do that, that'd be brilliant. So, speaking of that new stuff.
Yes. So, someone was asking in the NVIDIA Dev Talk forums regarding, let's see, GLVND,
how to get a
KMS,
better session running without GDM.
Yeah, EGL streams specifically. And the conversation went down, and at one point, Mr. Aaron Plattner actually goes in and says, libglvnd allows X clients to choose the appropriate GLX driver based on the GLX vendor provided by the X server. To get true Windows-like dynamic switching, you also need to get the X server to be able to choose the correct vendor based on the X screen it's talking to. And now, for the fun bit, work on that part. No, not this one. And the last bit, he says, we currently have no plans to support Xwayland. And everyone on Reddit immediately created a thread on Linux_gaming, and they started going, no, it's not that you can't, it's that you won't. Yeah, if you actually read the thread.
That's kind of what no plans means, is that we're not going to.
Yeah. And Aaron did reply on Reddit itself, and he says, the main problem for now is that Xwayland uses GBM behind the scenes to set up the rendering context, and we can't support that for the same reason we couldn't support it in Wayland compositors like Weston. In theory, Xwayland could use EGL streams instead, like some compositors already do. But we aren't working on making it do that at the moment, and I'm not aware of anyone else working on it. Disclaimer, he works for NVIDIA. Yeah. So, yeah, basically this is still the same issue that, plagued the NVIDIA drivers when Wayland first came out with Fedora 25. It's like, you can't do Xwayland because NVIDIA is not going to support GBM. They don't want to support it. I don't know why, but they don't want to support it. And to be fair, if we are being fair, I can kind of see their point in not wanting to support Xwayland as a whole, because Xwayland is a crutch. That's what it is. And supporting that, it'd be like Valve supporting wine on Steam.
Listen, man, as much as I hate it, we definitely, if you go back and watch our Wednesday show, what was it, last week or week before, we genuinely did talk about this needing, this is a chicken and chainsaw issue. It absolutely is. The Wayland coming to default and distributions is like that shit that gets announced, like battery technology. It's always been 10 years out. Since I could remember, Wayland's right around the corner. Distributions don't want to do it because the driver support's not there. And listen, man, card manufacturers we're not fucking doing it until you guys roll it out. What they mean to say is we're not doing it until we absolutely have to. Yeah. I do believe, Xwayland, that we're going to have. What do you think, Jordan? I mean, I think we're going to have some connective tissue to get people over there. Do you think that is what's needed, or is it just a clean break and none of your games work?
So here's the thing about that, and it's a really fucking complicated issue because, yes, we're going to have a long Xorg comp-filled road down the line because we have, well, here's the thing. If your game is built on STL or FNA, it will work with Wayland. That is not the issue. The issue is all these other older games based on STL 1.2 or in-house ports or feral ports or whatever that depend on X specific functionality. And implementing an X server on top of Wayland kind of defeats the purpose of what Wayland has set out to do. People are complaining, oh, there's all the shit that we can do with X that Wayland refuses to support. That's kind of the point. There's so much cruft in X that there needs to be a clean break. And unfortunately, it's like you said, Ben, this is a chicken and egg scenario. Until people start actually working towards getting a Wayland proper environment fully set up, so that means getting all the desktop environments on board because everything got pushed off to them, getting all the application libraries on board, and so on, there's not going to be much momentum. Fedora is doing their damnedest. They're working with hardware manufacturers. They're working with NVIDIA. They're trying to get it into a usable state so that they can start shipping it, so that people can start using it, developing on it, and then then we can start actually addressing some of these issues. But until we do, we're going to be stuck with X.
And in a perfect world, it would mean that, okay, so Xwayland is out. That means if you're a game developer, you're going to have to start supporting Wayland. And if you're a boarding house, you're going to have to start supporting Wayland. But we don't live in a perfect world. We live far from that perfect world.
Pedro, in a perfect world, everyone would be using SDL2, and this would be a non-issue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But currently,
Ben,
the world we live in, and considering how many people have NVIDIA GPUs on Linux, people are just going to keep using X.
Well, speaking of the competition, Ven, I hear some screeching in the distance.
Whatever. Humble Telltale Games bundle, and I can already hear the screeching, which is...
I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about the AMD stuff. But whatever.
Yeah, well, listen, man.
It's not a gaming card.
Hate mail's coming in next week, but I want to talk about this. Telltale. We know that they've populated one depot of one game. They just haven't released it. And the only reason I'm bringing this is because none of this business has a beautiful party penguin on it. Not even beat the average. But once you get down to the bottom of the page, more than 2 days and 20 hours, there's a penguin. Now, here's the thing to finish the sentence. Goddamn, Pedro. I just let you talk for like 10 minutes straight. Here's the thing, man. We don't know what this means. I completely agree with Jordan. This would be a heretic purchase if you bought it right now. Hold back and wait. I kind of have a feeling, though, Pedro, that we're going to see some Telltale Depot show up.
You do? Because I don't. The last time they did anything with that Linux depot, that one Linux depot that they populated, it was 4 months ago. They haven't said anything.
There was an update to that depot like last week or the week before.
I missed that then because, last time I checked, it was 4 months and they hadn't said anything. They haven't.
So everything Pedro's saying right now is wrong. Just everyone keep that in mind.
It's hard to get Wi-Fi from under that rock, right?
It's not hard to get Wi-Fi. It's hard to get decent internet. Yeah, that's why I'm using an LTE modem right now.
Now, here's something, kind of an aside. I want to hear what Shotrealm has to say about it. Remember back when, because they always had the pay more, not always, but ever since they've had the pay more than the average, but that would start off relatively high, like 12, 13 quid or something like that. Then the Windows users would start buying the games, and the average would drop like a stone. Admittedly, sometimes I would sit back and wait. I was like, you know what, I'll wait about 6 hours for that. These days, that average seems to be pretty damn static. Jordan, am I being crazy?
I mean, that's definitely a thing that does happen. But no one's buying this bundle on the Linuxes, so no one's going to be overpaying, except for that small contingent who have gone full Stockholm Syndrome on this. Mm-hmm. Maybe Telltale will release a Linux version of their engine. It would be nice. Mm-hmm. Their games are buggy as shit on Windows, so we're going to see some weird-ass jank if it ever does come to Linux.
Honestly, their games are glorified graphic novels, visual novels.
But you know what? Some people are into that. The storytelling is fairly decent from what I've seen. I've seen some people go through the Batman game. That had some pretty cool stuff in it. So it would be nice. I think it would be kind of it's not going to bring anyone to the platform. but expanded library of already existing games.
It would
Good
be
stuff.
refreshing for once to have a visual novel of some sort on Linux that didn't involve something eventually getting fucked. So,
You haven't played enough of these Telltale games, then, have you?
all right. Albion Online.
Albion, yes. Well, it's an MMO. That's something you don't get to say every day. It's a new MMO that's come out for Linux. It is, it was, I played an alpha a long time ago. It was Unity back then. I'm assuming it still is. It's available. You don't have to pay a monthly subscription, but you do have to pay some manner of entry fee. The lowest option right now is $29.95 for the veteran pack. You get 2,000 gold and 30 days of premium status with it. So yes, you don't have a subscription, but if you want to keep that premium status, you basically have to keep giving them money. Now, honestly, I am curious because this is an MMO for Linux. It's something we don't get a lot of, like a lot. And if I, considering I'm basically broke right now, I'm not really $30 worth of curious, but I am curious. I'll give them that.
I guess this is supposed to be like some kind of medieval based EVE Online, because it's all about like crafting and trading and resources and stuff. Like part of the entry fee gives you gold, which you can exchange for silver, so you can buy stuff. So you can start
there's
trading.
actually gameplay in this one, contrary to EVE.
There's gameplay in EVE, but the game is a
yes.
EVE is a perfect example of a game whose metagame has eclipsed the actual game. But I mean, this is STL2 based, so it's a plus. And yeah, the more you pay, the more you win. The premium status gives you extra XP, extra advances, and whatnot. Completely out of my wheelhouse. I could not give less of a fuck about this game than I already do. But, like Pedro said, there's very, very few MMOs on Linux. This is one of them. It's new. They released with support out of the box. So that's pretty nice. Well, I don't know, Ven, do you have an opinion on this? Does it tickle you at all?
Yeah, I'm kind of MMO'd out after Regnum, so.
All right.
The first MMO was always the MMO.
Why don't we just play some cards then? You can check out Spite and Malice. This is Skibo, which kind of sounds nasty, but it is a multiplayer solitaire game. The moral of the story here is don't read Wikipedia articles about the rules of card games because you're just going to get confused. In essence, Scum and Villainy, Spite and Malice is a multiplayer solitaire game. Like I said, I did not really take away much from reading that article. But it's kind of neat because it's rendered in, what was this? 80 by 24 using VT100 terminal characters. So you can play this entirely in the terminal. It has color graphics and animations. So, I mean, it's an interesting little project to see if you can make an animated game in the terminal. And, if you are stuck in a meeting or something and you want to fuck around and not pay attention and still look like you're working. I don't think this is going to be replacing Rogue anytime soon, but it does have multiplayer. I'm pretty sure it's not network multiplayer, though. Oh, wait, no, shit, it is network multiplayer. Yeah. So if you're really bored in the meeting and you have some people who are also bored, you can waste time like that.
All I'm hearing is a riveting after show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean, I don't like solitaire, don't like Freecell. It's one of those games that came with Windows. I was always happy to what was the pinball one that came with Windows XP?
Hyperspace Pinball. That was the shit. Runs in one perfectly fine. It's great.
Yeah, Space Cadet. Hyperspace Space Cadet. Yeah, that was really, really awesome. But yeah, no, I don't like solitaire. And much like Jordan, I tried to read or at least get something out of the Wikipedia article about the game and the rules, and I'm like, no, I'm going to stick to Doom the Roguelike on my terminal. And by the way, fuck you, Bethesda. It's been a while.
Yeah, I guess at the end of the day, I've never been bored or lonely enough to learn to play solitaire, and I'm don't think I'm worse for wear on that one.
You're such a card, then. You're
unstable.
This is Endless Sky. Yeah, 097 unstable release. They have some changes. They have pirate raids now. Will depend on how well you've defended your fleet. The game will move at triple speed when you have the caps lock on. So caps lock actually has some use. They got some Ubuntu packages. They got some Debian packages. This is basically Asteroids meets Privateer. So it compiles. If you want to build this on the non-Ubuntu, you're going to need libmad, some glue, scones, because, people love scones, and OpenAL. So it controls exactly like Asteroid. There's some menu bits for trading and piracy and whatnot. I fucked around with it for about 15 minutes. I didn't make any progress. If it's your thing, check it out. It's probably a decent time sink if this is something you're into and you actually.
I definitely gave it a shot, and I tried it way back when. Does it still fly like rewarmed mayo?
Yeah, it does. Because space is made out of mayonnaise, guys.
This is true.
Don't you know?
Huh?
Yeah, no, I looked at the download size and I said, you know what? I have better uses for those 71 megs.
He really doesn't.
I really do.
What's he doing? This fucking show? Come on.
Exploding things, Mr. Boom.
Yeah. Bomberman clone. This was originally for DOS. It comes in libretro and SEL2 flavors. And I gotta give the devs credit for this, because literally what they did was they used ASM2C. They decompiled this fucker, fixed it up, added SDL2 and libretro integration, and then shipped it. That is pretty mental. I gotta give you props for that. But it's straight up Bomberman. You can play it. I don't know, Pedro, did you play Bomberman at all? Do you like bombing things, high NSA?
I played Bomberman very much, yes, but I also happen to have this particular GitHub repo already cloned on my hard drive. Don't ask me why, don't ask me how. I did. So all I did was build it, run it. Oh, hey, it works. I don't know about the retro specific bit, but the regular SDL2 version works just fine.
That's definitely a thing. Latest version just came out last week's 3.5. Kind of impressed. I mean, this has network multiplayer, and we can play online. So,
and they decompiled this. This is what I'm getting at. These people are nuts.
I mean, they're no Croatian psychopaths, but this is cool. This is definitely something we might take a look at in the future, maybe for an after show thing, because it'll probably work better than Mothering Hedge Wars, won't it?
Oh, snap. It totally did work, though. We were just too lazy to figure it out. Anyways, coming up next, the Giants arrive scheming to end the Asa rule, and it's time to take them down one at a time with an axe and death. It's Jotun, Valhalla Edition. It's cheers. Only the most valiant of warriors, when they die, will get scooped up by Valkyries and brought to the Great Hall Asgard to drink and fight and become Einherjar. This person is not one of them, and they're the star of Jotun, Valhalla Edition, developed by Thunder Lotus Games. It's on the Unity engine. It is a wide gamut of prices, but it's around 15 of American wet stinkies. What is it? Jotun is a hand-drawn action exploration game set in Norse mythology. In Jotun, you play as Tora, no relation to Birch, a Viking warrior who died an inglorious death. You must prove herself to the gods to enter Valhalla. Impress the gods. We grabbed this for free last week, so if you want to buy that, it's a little too late now. But let's kick off the chairquisition. 1 chair means that it's garbage, 2 chairs means that it's meh, 3 chairs means it's okay. It's pretty good, actually. 4 chairs means that it's awesome. We got a categories of doom mixed with working, shiny sounds, controls, fun, and oh my god, these robes are so fun. Disgusting right now. Let's kick us off, Ben. Make with the working.
Oh, over here melting as well, Brother Svang. On the Ubuntu 1604.1.2. whatever it is this week, with an 8150, powered by a 980 displayed at UHD, which I didn't bother with this game because I just kind of played it when I was streaming it on Tuesdays. No issues. Nothing. I was looking for things. This thing survived me streaming and going into the game cold. Nothing exploded. Nothing blew up. Nothing really caught on fire. A little bit of smoke. Story for a different time. So, yeah, man, no issues. 4 chairs. Boom.
Yeah, on February 26, 64-bit with the i7-6700K, GTX 980, the NVMe SSD. Yeah, it's all good. No issues. Things worked when you pushed the buttons and it showed stuff on screen, so 4 chairs.
Yeah, and over here with the AMD FX 8370E, the GTX 1080, and running on Ubuntu Mate 1604.2, I think it is nowadays. I did have one freeze, but that wasn't the game's fault. It was actually Steam that crashed, and the game was like, I don't know what to do, and it froze. But the game itself, it was fine. 4 chairs.
All right, 4 chairs for mixed with the working. Shiny sounds, Ven. How are your eyes doing?
I can't see. It's too dark. He never actually said, hey, man, it's kind of really hard to figure out where I can and cannot go because lack of depth in this game. It's genuinely like running around on a flat surface. Also, minor annoyance. The character definitely seems to be missing a turning animation from going forward to going side. It's like click, 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 which is very off-putting with the extremely, you look on the video, the hand-drawn fluid animation that you definitely see in this game. And when your main protagonist always has that kind of jerk motion to it. You really should have done something with that. Sounds, background noise, it's fine. And guess what? The narrator, completely legit. I like how it looks. I like how it sounds. But it didn't blow me away completely. But I'm still going to give it 3.
Oh yeah, the soundtrack of this game is great. Like Ben said, the narration is also really good. It's all in like Norwegian or Icelandic or something. So I only recognize the proper nouns because I'm a big Norse mythology nerd. But yeah, the game itself, the wide shots are really fucking gorgeous too. It's all beautifully hand drawn. There's these huge, massive scenic vistas that are just so cool. But where that sort of falls apart though is when it zooms out and you got to actually play the game. It gets really hard to track the character. And also, when you zoom in, you sort of see some of the issues with the hand-drawn style, especially when there's a lot of enemies on screen. We'll get to that in the fun segment.
No
the
camera
hand-drawn
control.
aesthetic does fall apart.
Yeah, no, it's a fixed camera.
Yeah. So, that being said, it looks great. It sounds great. I'm going to give it 3 chairs. These issues are just minor nitpicks.
Yeah, but nitpicks will be nitpicks, and some bosses clearly had much more love put into them than others. The dwarf mother, the rock Jotun, the way she moves doesn't make it look like she's made of rock. It makes it look like she's being streamed over a connection with over 2,000 milliseconds of ping. So that needs fixing. The ice Jotun's movement and the forest Jotun, the first one you kill, those are lumbering, but they're smooth. So what the hell happened? Seriously. Also, zooming all the way out to show the whole gigantic boss, Jotun and its arena, makes your character so small it's actually impossible to see against the just the litter of dead dwarven bodies, especially on the rock Jotun. It makes your character just outright impossible to see, as if the boss fight wasn't hard enough already. The music, though, it's awesome. If I had to find something to complain about it, is that it just doesn't let up. It's always epic. It's always making you feel like you're in this grueling quest and there's no pause. But that's me literally complaining that something is too awesome. That should tell you just how jaded I've become with Steam games lately. So for Shiny and Sounds, it gets 3 chairs.
All right, well, that's 3 chairs for Shiny and Sounds then. Controls, then.
I didn't try it with anything other than my Xclone controller. Poked it, everything moved, everything worked, everything was logically-ish laid out, easy enough to adapt to. I didn't have any of the issues these other 2 psychopaths had. So I can safely say, at least with my Xclone controller, which is basically an Xbox controller without the branding on it, you're safe on that, and I can give it 4 chairs. Everything worked. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, it's a Unity game, so everything worked out of the box. My issue came with there's weird delays when it comes to attacks, when it comes to moving and dodging, and it just kept screwing me over. And controls are one of the core underpinnings of having fun with the game. And when you have to do these crazy big fights where where you need to be very specific in where you are, and the controller doesn't really keep up, it really doesn't do it for me. So technically everything works. There are some nitpicks, and this may just be some residual salt, but I'm just gonna give it 2 chairs on control.
Yeah, no, I had a few bullshit deaths because the game either glitches or cheats with certain boss fights. Because that's basically all you're doing in this game. You're just either running around or you're fighting bosses, but more on that later. One of the bosses, like the bosses that have legs, the first one doesn't, the second and third ones do, then the fourth does not. And the fifth, I honestly didn't play that far, but more on that later too. But yeah, the bosses that have legs, you can actually go between their legs, under their legs, and just take pot shots at their feet. Unless the game says, nope, there's an invisible wall under the boss's lower appendages, and you're going to take some bullshit damage because we say so. And also, the wind-up attack on the heavy it when you hit Y, the wind-up time is stupid long, considering the negligible amount of damage when compared to the light attack that it does. So it's not worth it. It's literally not worth it. You made a completely useless attack in a video game, in a boss rush video game. Now, outside of that, those, I guess, would be the more esoteric controls complaints that I have. The more down-to-earth ones, Steam controller, work fine out of the box, so 3 chairs.
Yeah, the wind-up attack too is more of an environment thing, and there's like a specific power that supercharges it, but whatever, yeah, it's not that great by default. Anyways, that's 3 chairs for the controls. Let's round this out. Fun! Ben, did you have fun playing Jotun?
Well, it turns out, hey man, hey buddy, it turns out I really don't care for exploration games. I learned that about myself 95 minutes in, and I've noped a boss and a few dwarves. Saying Jotun lacks direction would be a massive understatement. And if your game is an explore fest, don't hand me a minimap constructed of moon glyphs and spite, okay? Because that's all that fucking map is. Combat, what little I could find, it's kind of boring as fuck and or all. You do get upgrades, and those upgrades come without any explanation as to what they do. What I really mentioned earlier, half your time is spent figuring out where exactly your character can walk, because you're just walking on a 2D plane, which it is pretty. And as Jordan pointed out, yeah, those drops when they pull out, it's gorgeously done. But there's no depth to the actual surface. You figure out where you can go just by kind of going around perimeters. And that gets extremely fucky and extremely annoying. Now, is it pretty? Absolutely. It's gorgeous. You know what? I'll give it that. But I'm only going to give it that because at the end of the day, take that shot. The only redeeming thing about Jotun for me was the price when it was on sale for the low cost of free 1 chair.
Ben, riddle me this. Did you end up playing the tree level at all?
Yeah, the tree surfing.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no. Yeah, no, that I did. With the bird. The bird. Yeah.
Yeah, with the bird.
That's one of the key things I'm talking about.
Exactly. When I went through that was the exact thing crossed my mind. Like, God damn, like this is very unclear where I need to go. Especially, that map is fucking terrible because it doesn't tell you where you are in relation to it. So sometimes you're like, okay, I think I recognize this, which I guess kind of makes sense for a navigation game, but at least make that explicitly clear at the beginning and maybe have some more landmarks so you can actually identify where in the fuck you actually are. I have a little image in the review segment as well if you want to click on it. If you are watching this after the produced thing or you have access to the show notes, there are so many dead dwarves. Most of the enemies just go away after you kill them. Not the dwarves. I had literally killed all the fucking dwarves in Dwarfheim, and goddamn, they're just lying there. What does this game have against them? I don't know. Yeah, the combat in this game can just eat a fucking bag of dicks. I managed to kill the flower troll after the 5th attempt. Once I figured out, oh, here's a spot that I can cheese and ignore her big attack. And after I killed her, one of her death throws killed my guy. I actually got the achievement for killing her, but I had to redo the entire thing. One more attempt later, I'm just like, yeah, screw this. That's about when I actually stopped playing. But the game does have redeeming qualities, because if you're a fan of Norse mythology like I am, there's lots of cool little things. You'll walk in and be like, oh, this is this place. And the narration will go, hey, this is this place. And you're like, yeah, I know what's going on. Some of the exploration bits are pretty cool too, like when you're dealing with the bird or Jormungandr, the world serpent, where like he comes up from under you and you gotta duck out of the way. But again, the controls sort of hamper that, because you just get fucked because you're not in the exact spot you needed to be when the animation cycle started. Yeah, screw you. And these gameplay issues really rob the fun out of it. There's a good game in here, but you got to tighten up the controls and ease up on the bullshit, because other than that, the best I can give you is 2 chairs.
Yeah, no, I don't hate the game, and I wouldn't say it doesn't have direction. I mean, it literally has lit up arrows in Ginnungagap. You see a lit up arrow telling you where to go, so I guess it does have that. But I do have to agree with Ben, because it's not an ideal game. The animation is spotty and outright missing in places. The controls are fine when the game isn't cheating like a motherfucker. The sound effects are alright for the most part, but they're nothing to write home about. The non-boss fight area scream, we thought the game was too short and had to pad it out a little bit, and that, especially that last bit, is what keeps me from actually enjoying Jotun. Now, sure, game length is important, especially if you're paying for it. But honestly, I'd rather have that bike that just screamed past. But I'd rather have a short yet intense boss run gaming experience. Just the boss fights. Just go from one boss fight to the other. Done. And then a longer game that feels unnecessarily padded and boring with random spurts of intense boss fighting action. No, that's kind of where Jotun ends up being. 2 chairs.
All right, well, before the Vikers come and take Pedro away, I'll wrap this up. That's 1 chair for the fun segment. Totals out to about 2 chairs for the final thing. Final thoughts, gentlemen, before we get out of these robes and attempt to re-solidify?
I'm melting. That was actually 2 guys racing each other, which was kind of fun. That was I saw that coming, but I was going to warn you, but I'm me. That's basically that. If you need any further proof that this, and it's an older game, it's like from 2013. Things have been
15.
learned. 15. If you need any more proof that this game genuinely needs a lot of work and a lot more love done to it, which it's probably never going to get, Strider likes it. So that's all you need to know.
Yeah, no, it's not a bad game by any means or measure. It's just boring and padded. Could be so much better if it weren't so padded.
Empty, you mean? Empty.
Well, empty at least has some content.
No need to start bringing Mike into this.
I was going to say, don't say it the 3rd time or you'll summon him. There's just, look at the fucking video. There's just areas of minutes going by doing nothing. It was like, but you're exploring. There's nothing to explore. You're just fucking walking. There's not shit to interact with. You're just going from point A to point B.
Yeah, I think this sort of is a proto Hyperlight Drifter almost, in the same way that it's like very, very beautiful. It's very hard. Hyperlight Drifter had some, I feel, some more solid gameplay underpinnings than that. So coming up next, we got some hate mail. People, if you don't feel like listening to an 1.5 hour long YouTube video, maybe don't watch an 1.5 hour long YouTube video. That's all I'm saying.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, even if you didn't miss me, but you feel like you should at least drop a token, oh, kind of missed you. Don't use our contact form for that. We don't want that.
No, we only want toast.
Yes, our contact form.
or tacos. Always send tacos.
Yes.
And fuck you
If you're
parents that
Maddie,
try to
do
rape your
use our
head.
contact form to tell us how you make toast with a coat hanger. Yes, but you're going to go to linuxgamecast.com, hit the contact button, and you find a forum. Just make sure you pick LGC Weekly from the little drop-downy thing. Make sure to include your name, your email address, the subject, and whatever bit of hate mail.
Wait a minute. I'm confused. Why is there 2 shows? What's this other show about?
Yeah, this other show is that insane show that enough people thought it was a good idea that they give us money for us to do. It's Linux Weekly Daily Wednesdays, and you can blame Jordan for that title, as is the case with most titles. Yeah. So, yeah, it's that midweek show, what me and Ven do. It's a bit more, well, it's a bit less cussy. So if you have skittish family members who don't like them bad words, you might want to watch that show instead.
And we're also looking for some extra people to come in, because we want to be able to rotate people in and out and have some backups. And you think, hey, man, 3 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesdays, that like, I kind of like Linux. You have a decent mic or a decent headset, you got a camera. Send us a message. Hit us with that contact. We've already had one person come
LinkedIn
in
profile.
with a LinkedIn profile. I mean, they are throwing it down. So we're going to be getting back to people, bringing some people on, new people, and we would like to build a host base. Because who knows, we might do some extra shows sometime.
Rotating cast of idiots, so to speak.
Let's talk. Random ASCII writes in, because I think Freya wrote in last week telling us about the OS XD for the ATI overlay.
Oh,
it was just the Mesa overlay.
Mesa overlay.
Gallium HUD. Yes.
Gallium HUD. And we were wondering, hey, is there a way to do that with NVIDIA? And I was like, yeah, each top, and you just open the NVIDIA control panel. He's like, hey, man, on the hate mail bit about the Mesa drivers, he's like, what you need to do, just watch NVIDIA SMI, open that in one terminal, HTOP in another, problem solved. I can't confirm, but it might even work on the Mesa drivers.
I don't think SMI.
I don't think so.
Gingy, I don't think SMI is going to work on the Mesa drivers.
Yeah.
that is a thing that is packaged with the NVIDIA drivers. Good try though. But yeah, you can. I mean, if you don't have multiple monitors, you maybe want some overlay thing.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you.
Gallium HUD is very good because it doesn't just give you like FERPs, general FERPs. It gives you everything else that's going on with your GPU. It can give you clock speeds, it can give you a bunch of everything else, temperature, and there is something similar you can already use with NVIDIA, which is GLX OSD. That's the usual one that you can use with everything that creates GLX context. You can use GLX OSD with it.
It won't do Vulkan though. No, this one might.
Doesn't. Yeah, no, it doesn't do Vulkan. Not yet. I'm guessing someone will have to make a VK OSD for that.
Looking forward to it.
This next one's from Cyprian. I think I'm saying that right. Cyprian, Cypress Hill. Yeah, it's insane in the membrane. Says, guys, I'm sorry. I was trying, but I have to unsubscribe. I'm pro Linux all the way, but your content is just so damn long. It's too boku. Good luck and all the best. Cheers. Well, I mean, here's the deal. It's an audio podcast, as Ven has said repeatedly. Most of our listeners actually, throw us in a podcatcher and listen to us on, say, long shifts or bike rides or
Commutes.
I don't know, when you're torturing people and you need something to drown out the noises of the people screaming.
Hey man, like when they're walking 5 kilometers to get the Wi-Fi.
Oh yeah.
Hi.
But
Hello.
I mean, yeah. We have other stuff on the channel too. We have gameplay footage. It's also very long. But you can chop this up. YouTube actually has this nice little feature now that Twitch has had for fucking years, where if you stop a video, it'll actually bookmark long videos so you can pick up where you left off.
What do you mean,
they've
finally
been trying to do that for a while.
The Android app's been doing that for years, man. Here's the thing. Hey, this was a YouTube comment. And I just want to give you a hand, man. That was classy AF from somebody I personally don't, it's not somebody I normally see in chat or anything like that. It was like, all right, it's long form content, and I get it. So some people can't dig that, they need, I don't have any shiny keys to jingle in front of them and like jump cuts and bullshit like that. But hey, each to their own. I'm definitely cool with that. And I did have to write back. It's like, you think this shit's long? You should watch the uncut version, which clocks in at a minimum of 4 hours.
You usually in around 5.
I'm one of those people that doesn't really get when people complain that they're not getting less content. You're getting more stuff. You're getting more of us. Okay, admittedly, maybe the reason that you're actually unsubscribing is because you can't put up with us. Totally get that. I do. I'm not easy to put up with.
Well, Pedro, let's just be honest. Somebody said he was apologizing for it. I was like, whoa, that's weird. But here's the thing. Somebody, just in general, is like, I got to unsubscribe to your YouTube. It's the equivalent of, I've removed your game from my Steam wish list.
Pretty much. We're sad. Yeah. We're sad to see you go. Our subscriber count has reduced by 1, and we're always for alienating our fans.
I mean, we do that on a regular enough basis. I know I do.
Thank you, Pedro. That was the joke.
It's definitely a thing, beautiful people. But we do thank you for supporting this nightmare. And hey, at the end of the day, with your support, you might not agree with how we say things, but we kind of know our shit to some degree, and we are always open to debate anything we say. And at least what we say, we fucking believe our own bullshit, so we're not like, what's a good example? I was going to say like Ting or some shit like that. Brought to you by AMD. Man, I love AMD cards all of a sudden. You don't have to worry about any of that bullshit with us, but I do believe on that bombshell, we should. Cue that music. You can always find us around 9:30 Eastern Time. Maybe week after next, we'll be doing a UK special when Patreon gets some solid bandwidth.
Yeah.
We'll let everyone know because that requires massive fuckery on all 3 fronts, and it has been months and months since we've been able to pull that off. But we'll let you know way ahead of time.
Well,
so
in
you
advance,
have
yes.
no excuse whatsoever. That'll be on Patreon. That'll be on the show before that. That'll be on the Wednesday show. That'll be on the schedule. Come check me out. I'll be back Tuesday playing Wonderboy. It'll be horrifying and boring as always, but do tune in because that is my, until Pedro is back with stable bandwidth, that is my fuck around with OBS show. So, strange things might happen. Scream in my direction at Vinstone on the Twitter nets. I love everyone long and hard there, plus Vinstone on Google+. That's where I like to hang out.
I'm Jordan Svung. I don't have a pithy comment. I usually have that, but you can find me at the Burning Pool on Twitter, plus Jordan Svung on there.
Okay. I am Pedro Mateos. You can find me somewhere around the UK, or at Unaccounted For on Twitter, or plus Pedro Mateos on Google+.
Well, I think maybe week after next, what do you think, Jordan? We'll see how much spotted dick Pedro can choke down.
Seems like a plan. I'm looking forward to it. We'll throw it on the live stream. Pedro and Dick together at last.
I've tried haggis. Haggis is pretty good.
We'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Credits.
Oh, and
credits.
Strider asked in chat realm if anyone has ever complained about cuss words on LinuxGameCast Weekly. The entire fucking Linux_gaming fucking subreddit.
Well, I mean, come on. 12 to 14-year-olds are very sensitive.
No, they're adult 14-year-olds love swearing. They just hate hearing it.
And then a certain someone went to said subreddit and fueled their flames and said that we were mean.
Oh no, and then he quit for 2 weeks. Or a week, twice.
Oh, twice? 3 times?
Three
Four times.
Yeah, you haven't noticed we've quit caring, so.
Ah.
Oh. room. Look at the long
God,
list of
God,
beautiful
God damn this heats. I'm like that fucking southern banker from The Simpsons, or from the Cayman banker from The Simpsons. Oh, I definitely should have said that. I definitely shouldn't have said it was legal. It's hot here.
I'm schwitzing.
I'm schwitzing.
Come on, credits. Oh, there they go. Almost over.
Oh, and Strider, you didn't agree with the Jotun review? You know what to do.
5 dudes.